Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD. This is Fast Effect, and I actually snuck in as the 8th seed on tiebreakers. Incredible. There was actually a player who could not attend the top 8. He was on Pox. He played all 5 rounds. He won his first 3 and then scooped in his opponent in the next 2 rounds. He actually had them dead on board both games, so he ran the table with Pox and then mercifully left. So incredible. Here I am versus Sneak and Show with Death Shadow. A great matchup. This is actually a strong reason to run Death Shadow. So some of the huge problems that Sneak and Show faces here is Stubborn Denial is a hard counter versus them once you get Death Shadow or Gurmag Angler versus their most important cards. You have the ability to get Death Shadow down and not worry about any type of counterplay with Burn or Swords to Plowshares. Your stuff sticks and just finishes the job. And of course, you have discard and counters to attack both their hand and the stack. I mean, it's pretty much a nightmare. Combine all of that with the fact that you have Reanimate for their Gristlebrand when things do go sideways and you Thoughtseize their Gristlebrand. I mean, it's just, I don't want to say it's unwinnable, but it's really bad. Zach's going to have to play very well, get some really good draws to find a way to win this one. And it looks like Wasteland is taking out Volcanic Island. We've got a couple of Lotus Petals accompanying a basic mountain. I don't know if that's standard at all. I haven't played Sneak and Show in quite some time. I did play it a lot for quite a stretch, and I was not running a basic mountain. In my experience, basics, you're kind of hedging against both Blood Moon and Wasteland. So the basic mountain, let me know in the comments if that's more standard or if you think it's solid. Thoughtseize here. Zach using a Lotus Petal to Brainstorm. That feels pretty bad. Gonna get a 2-for-1 off of this Thoughtseize no matter what now. Lotus Petal plus whatever we take. And seeing a hand of Omniscience, Spell Pierce, Force of Will, City of Traders. Omniscience goes to the bin, leaving just some counters, Spell Pierce and Force of Will. Could potentially jam a threat here and put Zach in a situation where he has to force. He feels like he has to. And there's a Gurmag Angler. And that does indeed draw the Force of Will. So Zach needs to play right off the top here. Really is a 2-card combo deck for the most part. The nice thing is Sneak Attack you can get down and then later on draw into it. But in terms of show and tell, like, you do need to show something in. And that's what makes discard so potent against it. Watery Grave into Death Shadow. This is pretty well ideal cruising altitude. Death Shadow. Looking at a 2 or 3 turn clock. Ponder. Now we got all the Watery Graves down, so not going to be able to do a ton to lower it. But there's another Death Shadow, so this is pretty much it here. Pair of 6/6s versus 12 life. That math checks out very favorably for Death Shadow. Brainstorm from Zach, trying to find something. Trying to show and tell in a life linker. Show and tell in Omniscience and Gristlebrand. And like, there's all sorts of bad things that could happen, but these outs are quickly evaporating. That basic mountain can't cast show and tell. And this should do it. And it does. So game 1, going toward Death Shadow. Doesn't really get any better post-board for the most part. We'll see what people do in time to combat Death Shadow. It is a significant player. It may actually be the best deck in the format. It is very well represented right now, putting up great numbers. So as people adjust, I do think that there's a lot of different cards that could potentially be used to combat it. But at its core, it's really solid. The strategy is great. I mean, it's undercosted, efficient threats, all of the best permission. You got mana denial. It's just a fundamentally sound deck. And using your life as a resource is just a lot of fun, too. I mean, the ability to benefit from tight play like that is really strong. I think the difference in between an absolute master of Death Shadow and just kind of a novice, you're going to see more of a spread there than with almost any other deck I can think of. Storm certainly is comparable. You know, a bad Storm player will literally kill themselves. They'll have very little success with that. But that is how you learn. I mean, you do have to slosh around and make a lot of mistakes. But yeah, Death Shadow leaves me every single game and match. I really always look at it as like, man, I wonder how I could have played that better. The amount of variables just introduces so much, so many different decision trees and different paths that you could take that it's really not obvious to me what the absolute best paths are. I think it's pretty simple to identify a bunch of solid paths, but really figuring out the best play across the board is tougher. In Blood Moon here, cycle Street Wraith, and the Force of Will is found. Does he have the Force back? No, he does not. So that looks very all-in. Lotus Petal, City of Traders. His next land drop is going to get rid of the city, but he doesn't even have a land drop in hand. Ponder, Flusterstorm, and Sneak Attack. Really just want to get down a threat as quickly as possible here while the shields are down. And there it is, Death Shadow. Your pick for how long this will take. 2-3 turns from here. Death Shadow can grow pretty rapidly. Another Street Wraith. Another Street Wraith. Wasteland on the city. And a Gurmag Angler. So there you go. Just a 2-turn clock. Look how quickly Death Shadow can close out a match here. Zach's entire board obliterated. And there we go. Fetching is making sure it's actually in the deck. That is lethal. So Zach, the run ends there. Congratulations on the top 8 of the final the final Scholars Dual Land Open Tournament. That's all for this one. If you enjoyed the video, please help grow the channel by subscribing. You'll be notified when we upload new videos like Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic with commentary, or Untapped, our raw tournament gameplay. Thanks for watching.